Well, of course, the Labour Party want to be talking about NHS waiting list today, but they've dug a bit of a hole, in my view, over Diane Abbott, who is an historic figure, whether you like her or loathe her. She's the first black woman MP in our history, and she had the whip removed, which meant she was effectively removed from the parliamentary party. They've restored it, but now told her she can't stand as an MP in the election.
That's right. So if you remember, the former Shadow Home Secretary, she was suspended last year. She said that Jewish, Irish and traveller people do not face racism all their lives, and she compared the racism that they would suffer to people with red hair, for instance. That got her into a lot of trouble. She did an anti-Semitism awareness course. Yeah. She took the punishment and she made a very public apology, but now she's been told she can't stand as an MP.
And Labour have had a year-long investigation into this, which is absurd, because she wrote it in a letter in the Observer newspaper. So what's there to investigate?
Absolutely. My
old chum Kevin Maguire, Associate Editor at Daily Mirror, is plugged into Labour better than anyone. Kevin, they've made a mess of this.
They have. Keir Starmer was former Director of Public Prosecutions. He said he wants to speed up justice when he becomes Prime Minister, if he becomes Prime Minister. Well, he needs to speed it up in the Labour Party. But I can't, one, see why it wasn't sorted within months.
Or weeks,
and then,
yeah,
and then two...
Letter, that's it.
And two... If she has the whip restored, why it can't be up to her local party in Hackney North and Stoke Newington whether they want her as their candidate or not. Plus herself. Now, she is 70. She is in poor health. Yeah. She has been worn down by this. She's had problems with her son, which some people will actually remember. There's a big row, I think a justified row, over her educating him privately. But the way this is all handled...
Private education.
Yeah, I mean, that was it. People don't forget that. And I think Eamon Holmes got it when he said, well, she's unpopular in the country. She is. Some of that is racism, some of it is legitimate. Some don't like her manner. But I think she should be allowed to stand again for Labour if she wants to, and her local party want her to.
She was blindsided because she'd agreed with the party. She gets the whip restored, so she's a Labour MP until tomorrow. And then she finds that the Times has written on its front page, Labour's barred her from standing as its candidate, and she now goes on TV this morning and says, yeah, I've been banned.
Yeah, before any panel meets, and I suppose the panel's supposed to be independent and fair, the mind has been made up.
It's a breach of the rules.
No, it's terrible control freakery at the top of the Labour Party, and Keir Starmer can't wash his hands of it because he is the leader. If he let that panel know, and this happens, I know it happens because I've come across cases when it happens. You let them know that, look, I want her to be a candidate, or I think she should be allowed to stand if she wants. That panel hears, and they allow that to happen.
In 2019, she had a majority of 33,000 people in that constituency.
She's a hard-working local MP.
Yeah, it's a Labour majority. Look,
hard.
Some people don't like her manner. She can be very acerbic and offhand at time. In our local Labour Party, I know there are some people who will be glad to see the back of her, but you've got to put all that aside. The local Labour Party should be able to decide who its candidate is, and then the people of that area decide who they want as their MP. It's as simple as that.
And you've got even people like John McTernan, Kevin, who's a Blairite. He was Tony Blair's political secretary, saying they've deliberately humiliated her.
They have.
And it's shameful.
And I think they've damaged themselves.
I think they have.
Now, in the great scheme of things, will it affect the outcome of the election? No, because people will be thinking of the economy, health, public services, crime, all the other issues. But I don't think it's good for Labour.
No.
She was a trailblazer as well. You've got to remember she has a prominent position, the first black woman MP.
She came in with Bernie Grant and
1987. She suffers more abuse than any other MP. Some of it's vile. There are some people who've abused her, will be crying crocodile tears now, saying, oh, Labour should let her stand, but they hate her. But nevertheless, you just come back to the fundamental democratic principle. In any party, you should allow the members, unless somebody is a bank robber or a murderer or whatever, somebody unhinged, you should allow it to stand.
It's because she's Corbynite. It's because she's Jeremy Corbyn's mate. Well, many years ago, decades ago, they were more than mates. But it's because she's a Corbynite and Starmer's trying to use the hammer of the heart.
Well, they're using against her now that she liked on X, formerly Twitter, a tweet by Jeremy Corbyn, tweet by Jeremy Corbyn's wife saying he was standing as an independent and she liked it.
Well,
it is possible if they freeze her out and they do block her, and it looks like they're going to, she might go and campaign for Corbyn in Islington North.
Well, why doesn't she stand as an independent in her constituency?
She could, but she probably wouldn't get elected.
Right.
In truth.
Right. But Corbyn is a real threat because he's been an MP there for 40-odd years.
Yeah, you know what? One of the things about Corbyn as well, it's a very Islington North is possibly the smallest constituency geographically.
Right.
So the people are very concentrated. He's been there for so long.
They don't know anything else.
He almost knows everybody,
and
he'll have helped so many families.
Her political history sort of should be greater than this idea that she represents the Corbynite side of the party.
Yeah.
And what I mean is if Keir Starmer wants to demonstrate loyalty and also the fact that she has blazed this trail, regardless of whether you agree with her opinions or not on things, it would have been a mark of the man, actually, I think, to say, I would like her to be part of our party because she's part of our heritage.
And a big tent, yeah. Look, she was also, it's got to be said about Diane Abbott, she wasn't blinkered and not just a straight ideological Corbynite. She's on the left, politically very close to Corbyn. In fact, they used to be boyfriend and girlfriend back in the day. But a lot of other MPs who would be on the right, call them Blairite, call them whatever you like in the Labour Party, had perfectly good political and personal relations with her. I mean, isn't it
interesting, though? It's made a lot of people who wouldn't normally have a time of day for Diane Abbott feel incredibly sorry for her.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, well, you can...
I mean, I think this is a terrible injustice.
You can disagree with somebody politically.
Yeah.
You may not particularly like them as a person, but you might just have this sense of decency and
respect for the work that she's
treatment.
put into politics.
Yes,
But of course, some
Starmer
supporters are saying privately it shows he's tough.
Well, that's right. That will be the signal.
I would say.
Yeah.
Should we talk about education?
Yeah.
It's playing a bigger part in this election campaign than we might have anticipated, I guess, with Labour's ambition to put 20% VAT on private schools.
Employ 6,500 extra teachers in the schools used by 93%.
Well, they might need more than that because private schools will close down and you're going to need state schools. You're not going to get them very quickly.
I think you'll find, if you're going for that survey by a private school finance company, that over 2 years ask people, well, if it goes up, might you consider taking a go? That's a rubbish.
One private school already announced it's closing down. Tomorrow, Kevin, we've got a teacher a head teacher from a private school, read a very good letter in the Telegraph. He's got 600 kids in the school, rural area. They might have to close.
Can I just say some private schools are not very good and are poor value for money? I know at least 4 that transferred. They were failing and they'd have gone under until they transferred into the state sector as academies. There might be more now, but I know 4 did that. I'm sorry. I'm not going to get the smelling salts out now and say, if you want to pay for private education, absolutely fine. That's your choice. You've got the money. You do it.
You don't agree with that.
I wouldn't ban them. But I don't see why you should expect a tax perk on it and get an exemption from VAT, because it's not a charity. Private education is what you do for yourself. Charity is something you do for other people. And it's why I'm more concerned about the 93% of kids in state schools. Average $8,000 a year spent on their education. $8,000. Double that, 16 grand in a day school. Now, I want extra teachers to raise education for the majority, rather than getting me hanky out and weeping for a very small minority that is, let's be frank about it, privileged.
So you don't care about those children?
No, I care about them, but...
No, you don't care about the children.
I care
about those 60,000 children.
Well, you care about them most. I don't know what you do with your kids, but you seem to care more...
It's not about me. It's totally
but you seem to care about them more than the other 93%.
Absolutely not. As a state-educated person, what I really, really care about is that all children get a really great education.
Yeah, that's why there's 6,500 extra teachers.
And choice.
6,500 extra teachers.
You're not going to have schools to employ them in. Where are you going to build these schools overnight?
Which schools?
You're going to need more state...
What, for the 6,500 teachers?
No, for the private school kids that are coming out.
And the teachers.
How many...
There isn't a lack of teaching.
How many are coming out?
At the moment.
How many are coming out?
Well,
what did the Institute for Fiscal Studies say, which is a very thorough think tank?
40,000.
3 to 7%. They thought 3 to 7. 3 to 7.
40,000.
Well,
disagree with you. They said 40,000.
Yeah, but it's 3 to 7%. 3 to 7%.
But that's 40,000. 40,000 is where are they going to go to school, Kevin?
Yeah.
Where are they going to
go? There are spare capacity in state schools because the birth rate is falling.
And those
You can
state
see the
schools
projection, the
aren't very
numbers are
good,
coming
and
down.
a lot of those state schools are not very good at all.
80% of state schools are good or outstanding excellent.
But you're taking away the parental choice.
I'm not leaving the choice.
This is what I don't understand.
Why do you expect a tax perk?
This is what I don't understand about the left. What you are leaving is going to be you're going to be leaving private schools for the super rich. Hang on, for the super rich, because it won't make a dent.
That's what you think. That's what you think you understand about the left. What I understand about the right is it defends privileges for itself under the cloak of selflessness.
And lawyers. And teachers, two-income families, sometimes having the grandparents help them. A lot of children on bursaries, a lot of children
higher income families.
It's jealousy, Kevin.
No, it's not.
Smacks of jealousy.
Well, no.
I love the state system, but I also want people to have a choice.
It only smacks of jealousy if you don't care about the other 93% and you just focus on the 7%. And you ignore almost all middle-class families as well as working-class families, because most working middle-class families, the overwhelming majority of middle-class families use the real public schools, the state schools, like working-class families.
But what those parents are doing is taking pressure off the state system.
Well, they can continue paying. That's all right. I'm happy for them to pay.
Children at private school.
I'm happy.
606,000 children at private school. Not all of those are the children of billionaires. Most of them are the children of hard-working middle-class people.
You can pay as you want, right? If you want to pay, you can pay. But it's all whether you should expect.
Do you think this is a tax policy, or do you think this is slowly backfiring because so many aspirational parents think I want to put my kids in this little private school, but they can't afford the 20%?
All right. I think the 93%, or most of the 93% who use state schools, including the vast majority of middle class, are aspirational too.
Right.
And they want their better schools. And that is where, if you just keep focusing it on why you're putting this VAT on these private schools, and you ignore what that will fund, I can see how you can distort the policy. I can see how you get it. But you keep missing out the 6,500 new teachers.
You're punishing children.
I think you'll find you're benefiting all the kids will get the 6,500 teachers.
We want to talk to you about your hero, Angela Rayner. It's not my hero.